Haven't left my room in 3 days. So many hours spent on researching for these videos, so please like and subscribe. That will make me feel a whole lot better. Let's get into men's 95 kilos. So the first guy is RYNO OOSTHUIZEN from South Africa. He's the South African arm wrestling president. And based on my research, as of 2018, he was a 7-time 90 kilo champ. So by now, could have gotten a couple more national titles. And overall rank number 4 in the country. He was a 2015 WAF 90 kilos top 10 finisher on the right, but on the left, he didn't do as well. He was 16th place. But 10th place at 90 kilos at WAF is actually pretty respectable in such a tough class. I think the South African arm wrestling president deserves probably at least a high dragon to a sort of low god tier for the right, at least. For the left, maybe a little bit lower, so probably gonna put him as a low god and maybe high dragon on the left. That should be okay, right? Next guy is also the country's arm wrestling president, ANTON van der WESTHUIZEN. I had the pleasure of watching him arm wrestle at Over the Top last year in Australia. Anton is New Zealand's arm wrestling president. 2023, he's currently ranked 2nd in 90 kilos class on the right hand, and at the 2022 Nationals, he was the 100 kilo champion on the right, 2nd place on the left. At Over the Top in 90 kilos, he was 8th on the left and 4th on the right, and in overalls, he was 13th out of like 50 plus people. So actually, Anton is a pretty strong guy, pretty good accolades in the Oceanic region. I think he's going to be able to do quite a lot of damage. I think he's probably like a high dragon, mid to high dragon for both arms. So that is where I'm going to put him. And yeah, maybe higher on the right, mid dragon on the left, high dragon on the right. Sounds like that should be right? So next up, a guy from Canada, Tyler BOLZAN. This guy's pretty prolific in the North American arm wrestling scene. Current 100 kilo champion on the left hand, and in Ontario, he's also a 100 kilo champ. 2022 100 kilo nationals first place, so champion on the left, 5th place on the right. So left definitely much stronger than his right, but 5th place in Canada on 100 kilos, and he's coming down to 95 for this class. I think still gonna be pretty dangerous. So I would say his left is definitely god tier. His left is probably a mid to high god. His right maybe a low god to a high dragon, just to play it safe, because he had a 5th place finish. Just gonna put him as a high dragon on the right, but for left, definitely probably a high god, I guess. At least. Yeah, after him is MARKO KARPPINEN from Finland, 2023 European Grandmasters 95 kilos, 1st place for both arms, but in the seniors he got 9th on the left, 12th on the right, so not super impressive. And he was a WAL European qualifying athlete, but he got like 5th place on left and right, so pretty good like in his Grandmasters class. But once he goes to like the open or the seniors class, doesn't seem like he will do too well. So for him, probably gonna put him at maybe high demon-ish on both arms. High demon to a low dragon, but yeah, just gonna put him at a high demon for now. Alright, next up we have JUHA SALMINEN. This guy is actually a pretty prolific guy on the international scene. He's a multiple-time Finnish and Scandinavian champion. 2023 European, 4th on the left, 5th on the right, and at Worlds last year in France, he was 3rd on the left, 5th on the right, and he was a multiple-time Arm Wars contestant back in the day. Pretty high-level guy, I would say, just based on his international accolades. I think it is safe to probably put his stronger arm, which is, I think, his left arm based on performance, as a god tier. But right, maybe a high dragon-ish. But left, definitely a god tier, maybe a mid-god level-ish guy. Actually, maybe his right is probably a low god as well. So we're just going to put him there out of respect for his accolades so far. And next up, we have another South African guy, but this is from a different organization, I think, the Arm Wrestling Association of South Africa's treasurer. He was a 2022 South African National Ranking Tournament second place on the left and first place on the right, but at the 2022 Nationals, he was 7th on the left and 7th on the right, so not sure how that works. Probably the Nationals was a bigger tournament and the ranking tournament was a smaller one, but nevertheless, 7th place doesn't really sound too impressive, especially for a country like South Africa where it isn't as competitive yet. So probably just gonna place him as maybe like a high demon, I guess, for both arms, since he did get the same placing for both arms. After that is my teammate, ADZHAN ADIB. So he used to be a 86 kilo puller. This year he's coming up to 95. He's currently ranked 1 in Singapore for 95 kilos on left and right. And in 2021, he was the 86 kilo champion on the right hand. Last year at Asians, he was the junior champion on the left hand for 86 kilos and second place for right hand. So pretty strong junior level puller. He's also going to be pulling in the youth this year. But at the senior level, I don't think ADZHAN is really up there yet. I think for his right, he still should be able to do some damage. Probably a high demon to a low dragon, but just because of his age and his much less experience than his other competitors, I'm gonna put him as a high demon on the right and a mid demon on the left. So next up we have VASILEIOS PETROU from Greece. He's the Greek national champion, multiple time champion in Greece, and 2022 he was 105 kilo category participant, but he was like 13th place on both left and right, so not really very impressive. And at the Europeans this year he was 10th on the left, 8th on the right. Very iffy results, nothing to boast about. So I think for him, we're probably gonna put him like a mid demon level, just because his achievements so far have been lackluster. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Next up, we have his teammate Konstantinos Pedre. I don't know. I'm gonna butcher that name, but yeah, 2023 European Masters 4th on the left, and 2019 WAF Masters 5th on the left in the 90 kilo category. So he's only going to be participating on the left hand. Seems like a left hand specialist, but he is a Masters category competitor. This time participating in seniors as well, but he hasn't really gotten any medal finishes of note. So most likely gonna put him as a demon level, just because he's a Masters competitor, and he hasn't really competed in seniors, probably for a reason. Next up we have from the USA, Eli BROUHARD, 2023 currently ranked 7th on the left, 8th on the right, and 2023 Nationals he was 2nd on the left hand and 1st on the right. So at the Nationals he did really well. No one really touched him on the right hand, got 2nd on the left. So Eli for right hand, I think probably God tier threat, but left, maybe high dragon to low god. I'm just gonna put him as a low god threat for left and high god threat for right, because as you can see from the videos, he does look extremely dominant on the right hand. And following him is his teammate Timothy Lewis, only competing on the left hand, 2023 USA rank 13th on left, so not super high. He's more of a competitive bench presser. He has a 215 kilo competition bench. Outside of that, not too many top accolades as of late. So for the left, just out of respect for his specialty, probably going to put him as a low dragon. Low to mid dragon, I think, is a reasonable ranking. Maybe just mid dragon. I think that should be appropriate. After that, we have Alex BEZIAZYKOV, as otherwise known as Alex Top Roll Schoolboy's brother. At the 2023 Nationals, he was 2nd on the right, No info on his left arm, but I know his left is still pretty legit. Quite a lot of medals on the regional level, and he has medaled at IFA Worlds in Florida before, but that was a pretty small world championship compared to the others. But nevertheless, still a very competitive guy, has competed in the Southeast Asian region before, has competed in the Asian region before, and has medaled before. So pretty solid guy. Gonna put both of his arms at a high dragon threat level, because I know that he is pretty competitive on both arms. After that is NIELS KJELGAARD from Denmark. He is the 2023 European 7th place on the left, 10th on the right, and at the Senate hand he was 6th on the left, 4th on the right, so almost a medal. But at Worlds last year, however, he was like 16th place on both arms, so not really very impressive. The best result I could find from him was a 3rd place finish at the Nordic Open last year on his left arm. So still questionable. Probably going to put his left arm higher ranking than his right, but I don't think I can place him any higher than maybe a dragon, like a mid dragon on the left, and a low dragon to high demon on the right. Let's just put him as a low dragon since there's no one there yet. And next up we have GIORGI GVINJILIA. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but 2023 European, 6th on the left, 9th on the right, and at Zloty he was 8th on the left, 9th on the right, so seems to be slightly better left-hander. His placing is probably like a middle of the pack guy, so I think a safe bet would be like mid dragon on the left and a low dragon on the right. Don't think he's going to be gunning for the top couple of placings, but I think he's going to be able to do some damage in the middle of the pack. Next up after him is SANDEEP SHEORAN. He's the Indian team captain this year, and he was a multiple-time national champion in India. I've met SANDEEP before, and his brother who will be competing in this category as well. But yeah, I think SANDEEP is a pretty strong guy, but I don't think that he is at a 95 kilo level at this stage. So probably a high demon on both arms, and that leads us to his brother as well, who is also pretty close in strength to him, ROHIT SHEORAN. So he is also a multiple-time Indian national champion, but just from experience I know that they are pretty close in level. Also gonna put ROHIT at like a high demon-ish sort of level, because just knowing from pulling them personally, I don't think they are at a 95 kilo level. Next up is who I think will be one of the top contenders for this class, MINKYUNG from South Korea. So he's a South Korean 95 kilo champion, overall ranked number 2, and he was the 2022 over the top South Korea $80,000 winner, if you guys remember that happening. He also had a recent win over Herman Stevens, so very, very well decorated athlete from South Korea, super strong, especially in the Asian region. I think he is a god tier threat on both arms, so that is where I'm gonna put him. I don't know if his right or left is stronger. I'm just gonna assume they're almost on the same level, so gonna put him at like a mid to high god level for both arms. After that we have Jinhao Lee from Malaysia, only competing on the left arm. He was the 2023 Malaysian Nationals 3rd place on the left, but knowing his level and the people that he's competed against, I can't really put him very high. I think he is probably the only low demon, that's going to be in this list, because I know his level is not really that high. Sorry, Jinhao, if you're watching this. But yeah, moving on to next guy, also from USA, only competing on the right hand, Danny Gillian. 2021 Nationals rank 1, but he was the 2022 Grandmasters 2nd place, in 2023 rank 3, and Grandmasters rank 2. He was also a 2014 WAL finalist and known for being a legendary hook puller. Danny Gillian, many years in the sport in the USA, super strong, but I've seen him struggle against some guys who he shouldn't really struggle against, like maybe Kyle DePew. Artem Taranenko. So not really going to place him that high, but I think he's at least a dragon level threat, maybe high dragon, but I don't think he's going to be pushing into the god level. So that's where I'm going to put him, probably a high dragon level. And now we're moving on to the final contestant on the list, Deepak Das from India, 2-time national champion, 3-time Assam state champion. This guy has beaten SHEORAN that we have mentioned before. So his current champion in India for this weight class, seems to be a pretty strong guy, but I've seen videos of him losing to Kyle Cummings, who was second place in 95 kilos at Asians last year. So I don't think he's quite god tier, but I think for right hand he should be at least a low to mid dragon. So yeah, that's where I'm going to put him, mid dragon. And that was the list today, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys in the next tier list.